Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie and believe it or not, it's time for the end of the year book tag. Yes, I cannot believe it, but 2023 is very nearly over. We are in the final weeks of October right now, and I wasn't really planning to do this video so early, or I was at least trying to wait until November, but by the time you're seeing this video, I will be on vacation for a week, so I thought it would be a nice way to just upload something before I come back with a couple videos from that trip with a reading vlog and a couple other things about the destination I'm going to. So I wanted to get this out, and what a better time, honestly. I've seen a couple people start to do this already. I saw this video on Meg with Books channel. She's so fabulous. Check her out if you haven't already. So she did it and I was like, it's fair game. We can all do it now. And of course, I already have a lot of my end of year reading plans done, so might as well just talk about them. Okay, jumping in, this is a short and sweet tag, just going over some of the reading plans that I have for the end of 2023 and into the very beginning of 2024. The first question is, are there any books that you've started this year that you need to finish? And I do have a couple for this. I feel like under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have an answer for this, but the way that the month of October has been going for me reading wise, I actually end up having a couple for this. The first one is World War Z by Max Brooks. I am almost halfway through it and I am working my way through it, but honestly, it's taking me longer than I thought. I thought I would pretty much whip through this, but the fact is, it's quite an intense read, and I actually have had to put it down. I haven't always been in the mood to pick it up. It's very sad. It's very dense with political language, military language, and also then it's just like sad and horrific because of the zombie war that's going on, the zombie apocalypse. So I have not gotten as far into it as I really wanted to, but I'm not going to DNF it. My intention is to finish this. I'm going to try to make some progress on it in the next couple days, and yeah, we'll go from there. But surprisingly, I've not finished this yet. And then the other one is a book I've talked a lot about on this channel. That's Shark Heart, A Love Story by Emily Habnick. I did actually start this book very recently, not very far into it. I think I'm like 50 pages. And again, this is one that I thought I was going to sit down, whip through. Yeah, but what ended up happening is it's very sad. And this is the thing. I have been struggling to read in October. For a second there, I thought I was gonna like not get through hardly anything this month. I was really struggling to find a book I was in the mood to read, find something that was working for me. And I do want to read it and I intend to finish it at some point very soon. But I was like picking it up and it was too sad. It was too, my heart couldn't handle it. So if you don't know what this is a magical realism or surrealism literary fiction story about a couple who learn that one of them has been diagnosed with an incurable disease in which they turn into a shark, which very odd, but the point is that it's about knowing that their days are very numbered, and it's really sad. It's really sad already. I know it's going to inevitably be like hopeful and very, heartwarming, but I guess I wasn't in the mood to read something sad because I've been struggling to want to pick it up. But with that being said, my intention is absolutely to finish this year. Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal read that will transition into the end of the year? Well, in a perfect world, it would be The Secret History by Donna Tartt, because I intended to read this year and I have not yet done it, so November would be the time. This would be the perfect book for November, but I can't promise I'm going to get to this. I really want to, but it seems that for some reason my November is filled with super long books. So this is tentatively on my plans, but I'm just not sure that I'm gonna get to it. I also have Never Whistle at Night, edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr. What a name, wow. This is an Indigenous dark fiction anthology. I'm very excited. This is a 2023 release. It's being talked about a lot, and I do intend to read this in November, so this is kind of my transitional book because it's actually short stories, and what I have been told is that it's not necessarily horror, it's just dark in some way. So I think that that would be a nice transition out of October through November into the end of the year. And then I also have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, which is going to be a part of a vlog that I have planned, and I'm considering this my last thriller of the year. They're not exactly autumnal, except for Secret History is, but yeah, they're kind of coming out of the horror season that is October and into whatever November is supposed to be. Question number 3 is there a new release you are still waiting for? The only one that I can think of is the mini sequel to The Appeal by Janice Hallett. That is The Christmas Appeal by Janice Hallett. The Christmas Appeal is a short story, so it's very small, and it is the sequel to The Appeal, but I think you can read them. I think it's like it's not a true sequel. I think it's like just a small little thing. It says The Appeal 1.5 instead of 2. So I think it's like just a little companion to The Appeal, which The Appeal I think is going to be one of my highest rated books of 2023. This is a murder mystery told entirely through emails and text messages. It's very fun. We read it for my book club and we all had a great time with it. So we are then going to read The Christmas Appeal in December. And it comes out really soon. It comes out October 24th. So that's the last one I'm waiting for. But I definitely do have a lot of 2023 releases that I have on my shelves that I haven't read yet, including one I got recently. That's The Unmaking of June Pharaoh by Adrienne Young. I got this from Book of the Month. I am dying to read it. I've never read this author before though. I really didn't have this slated in my November or December plans, but when I got it from Book of the Month, I'm like, okay, we got to make room for that. So this is a new release I'm really trying to get to. Question number 4 is, what are 3 books that you would like to read before the end of the year? Oh, I mean, I have a lot more than 3 books that I want to read before the end of the year. I know it's asking for 3, but I'm going to give you a handful because these are kind of the top of my list. The first one is Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler. This is the sequel to Parable of the Sower. It's the second in what was supposed to be a trilogy, but she sadly passed away before the trilogy was finished. So this is actually the last one. And I read Parable of the Sower last year, really loved it, and I'm intending to read this. We always take a long car trip to visit family, so I'm intending to read this via audiobook, and I've meant to actually get to this. It was one of my 2023 goals to read this book this year, so I would love to be able to get that done. And I have plans to do it, so that shouldn't be too hard. And then I have either When We Were Orphans or Clara and the Sun by Ishiguro. I'm not going to get to both of them, but I'd really love to get to one. I have a plan for December where I'm going to read a book from all of my favorite authors that I haven't read yet, so that's going to have a ton of books. December is that's going to take up pretty much all of December, but I'm really dying to get to another Ishiguro because Never Let Me Go was one of my favorite reads of last year. I'm leaning towards When We Were Orphans though, so we'll see, but I really want to add another Ishiguro to my list. And then a couple books that refuse to leave my TBR. I've had them on my TBR for forever. The first one being A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Tolles. This is one of the books that I'm planning to read in November, and it is like super long. This plus Secret History, that's gonna basically take up my entire month, and like obviously I have other things I want to read in that month, but I do believe that this will be a 5-star read for me, so I am dying to get to it, and it's been on my TBR for far too long, like I think 2 years at this point. Like, we got to get to this. Next, I have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, a book I've had on my TBR for far too long, and my intention earlier this year in 2023 in March, I was trying to read a bunch of memoirs, and I only ended up getting through I think 2 or 3 of the memoirs that I have, and I still have this one plus another one sitting on my shelf, but I would really like to get to this in 2023 because I had it in my plans to do it in March and I have still not done it. So what's wrong with me? I know this is going to be a 5 stars. Like, what's wrong with me? And finally, a book that has been on my TBR for so long. I think this has probably been on my TBR for at least 3, if not 4 years at this point. It continues to elude me. That is The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. If you have watched literally any of my TBR videos, this book has been on the TBR, and it's still not been read. So what am I gonna do about it? Well, I'm trying to prioritize it and add it to that list of books by my favorite authors that I haven't read yet that I'm going to be reading in December. It's a long one, like it does intimidate me, it really does. But my hope is that it will be worth it, and finally I will read this book. I keep saying it, one day it'll happen. Question number 5 is there a book that could still shock you and become your favorite of the year? Well, I'm really hoping that it's going to be Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Aji-Brenya. I will be reading this next week during my vacation. This is the one that I'm taking with me, and I have hopes that this will be a 5 stars, that this will make my favorites of the year. So I'm planning on this one to be the best of the year, but honestly, it could be Unmaking of June Pharaoh if I actually get to it. So we'll see. I don't know. I've never read this author, so I really don't have any idea if I'm gonna like this, but it feels like something I could really like. And finally, have you started making reading plans for next year? I have, though I'm trying to get through the end of the year and just see what I accomplish, because that will really help me plan my goals for next year. But I do have a couple. So I have a couple early 2024 releases. I have a couple arcs that I absolutely will get to. One being Come and Get It by Kylie Reed, author of Such a Fun Age, one of my favorite books. So I am so excited to be reading that. And then I also just received this arc. This is The Other Valley by Scott Alexander Howard. I don't know too much about this, but it does say that it's for fans of David Mitchell and Kazuo Ishiguro and Ruth Ozeki, who I've never read before, but David Mitchell and Ishiguro? I am a fan of David Mitchell and Ishiguro, so this is supposed to be for me. Early release, and I'm very, very excited. I always pick up literary fiction arcs if I can, because I think I'm the target audience for them, and I think that I would be able to provide a good and helpful review early on for early readers. And then I know for a fact that I will be reading Out There Screaming, an anthology of new Black horror edited by Jordan Peele. Everybody's talking about this book, very, very hyped, short story collection, and I will be reading it in February with the Literally Dead book club. I mean, I'd want to read it right now, but I am saving it for February to read with Literally Dead book club, so I know I'll definitely be getting to this. And then I've been trying to think about some yearly challenges that I want to do. In 2023, my challenge was to read all of The Walking Dead. I'm very nearly done with that. I will complete that this year. Very, very exciting. So I want to do something else that's like that, because it was really nice to be able to read one per quarter, and that just felt like a very achievable goal. And so I think that next year I really want to do something with classics. I don't read enough classics. I don't prioritize them. So I might do it where I read, you know, one classic a quarter and make it kind of seasonal. And then if I knock out 4 classics, like honestly, I feel like that is great work, because classics are always hard for me to prioritize. I'm also considering doing the Gideon the Ninth series, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it because I haven't even read the first one, so I'm gonna try. I want this to be a 2024 thing, but in 2023, my goal was to read the 5th season trilogy, and I read the first one. I thought it was, you know, pretty good, but I was not interested in continuing the series. I'm just not a series girl, so that's why it's a challenge for me to do them. So I did read the first one, but like just could not commit to reading the rest of them. My fiance is reading the rest, and he seems to be enjoying it, but series are definitely a challenge for me. So this is something I'm interested in trying out, but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm just so happy I did The Walking Dead, because like that's huge. It's like one of the only series that I have not like stopped after the first one. What is it about series that I just cannot handle? Like, even if I love the first one, like when I go to the second one, it's just like my interest completely drops off. I don't know what it is. I'm just not into series. And that is it. That is all of the questions for the end of the year book tag. So we've got some work to do, and this is clearly not even everything that I want to get to. These are just some really top of mind things that I would love to read by the end of the year. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, what are a couple books that you absolutely need to get to before 2023 is over. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, year, the end of 2023. Not a lot left, but I hope it is amazing. And I will see you back here next time. Thanks so much. Bye.